Greetings, gamer guys and gals. Welcome to part 23 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 5 Thracia 776. And in today's episode, we're going to be letting go and letting loose the Portcullis attack. Ah, those dullards actually fell for it. All right, men, fire at will. Do the holy-blooded Knights of House Frege fight using such underhanded tactics? When our forces met in Noel Valley, I respected the honor with which your army conducted itself. It seems I was mistaken. On behalf of my home, my honor compels me to agree with you. The Crusader Thrude would not have fought using such treachery. This is all because of that fool of a man, General Kempf. This disgrace is his doing. As a knight, I'm loath to give my life in service of such a foul plan. You seem to be an honorable lad. I've self-control enough to not turn my sword against you, if you can promise the same. If you've no mind to fight, sir, then we have no reason to meddle with you. In fact, we may even be able to help each other. I'd wager the both of us have little energy to spare now. I can agree to those terms. I've many things left undone. It's settled then. We can both agree that our time is better spent devising an escape. Very well. My forces will storm the castle's interior in short order. When that happens, you should make your escape to the south. We can take care of the gate ourselves. Are we in agreement? We are. It appears I owe you quite the debt, and I'm Fred, proud knight of House Stade. I would know your name as well, friend. It's Leaf. Leaf of the Leonster. House Leonster? I see. Well, Lord Leaf, I believe we'll meet again one of these days. All right. So, Fred is now a green unit. You cannot recruit him or anything of that nature, but we will be able to, maybe perhaps recruit him in the future. So, first and foremost, we're actually going to open this door with Karen. And then we're also going to open this door with Lithis. Asbel would like to move up yonder. I actually probably should have given that door key over to Asbel, being real. Oh well, but one thing we need to do, absolutely, is we need to open some of these doors. Let's dismount, open that door. And then we are going to open this door. And finally, open this door. Alright, Laura has exactly 13 defense. These guys are going to be doing 12 damage apiece. So if... I can't let her be attacked by multiple. Let's put her here. Go ahead and give them a target. And let's bring up Dagdar just in case. Selfina, you're just probably going to sit here and look pretty. That's really all we can do about you as a unit on chapters where there's Siege Tomes and Ballista. Later on, we don't have to worry about that so much with Selfina. We can kind of avoid the concern. But for the time being, I think it's just beneficial if we play it safe. Now, not opening that door can leave Fred in quite the sticky pickle, especially if you don't have any units who are within range of these ballista who will be able to take any of the hits. Alright, so let's go up here and heal with Nana. Nana's going to be staying with Laura down here and healing her up. What she needs, however, Laura particularly, is Laura needs to get at either one more defense or one more HP, because if we can get her to that, we're going to just put her in the midst of all the enemies, particularly. We are going to... I think what would be a good idea here is just to give him the door key and open that door. And also, we're going to be getting Fergus and Karen in here to help out with taking out some of these enemies. And I think that's pretty well all we need to do right now. We can just go ahead and end turn and let this portcullis attack commence. So it's kind of interesting how that Leaf and Fred talk about how that this is a treacherous strategy, but in actual medieval Europe, this was a very good strategy. Trapping your enemy in the portcullis or between the portcullises of your gatehouses would allow for such enemies to be destroyed by your archers and other such units who are within range, which is pretty good as an idea. Alright, so we need to move forward with some of our units. But what it's showing is that this is really just, you know, as I've said before, this is romanticized medieval Europe. This is not an actual medieval Europe. Alright, so we have a couple of enemies here. I don't know. Yeah, these guys are stationary, so we don't have to worry about them. That mage, however, or bishop, I should say, he is not stationary. We're going to equip the slim lance, or slim sword there. And we can also move over here with Karen and equip the steel sword. Alright, that should be our turn. And of course these guys are going to attack Karen. Hopefully she gets a couple of crits here and there. We don't really need her to because, in all honesty, we're just going to take out all these guys over the next like turn or two. Dealing with them with all the units we have over here just bundled up. One thing I absolutely want to do once I can is I am going to be taking out all of my mounted units, Fergus and Karen, back into the area where the gatehouse is and having them remount. Alright, so come on. 1 HP? Alright, she got 1 defense as well. So now we can put her in the pathway of both the ballista, which is exactly what we want. And the best spot for that would be right here. Nana is potentially going to be attacked by the 1 ballista over to the right this turn. I almost want to dismount her because of the potential of that. And the reason being is because of defense. So we're going to dismount her for the time being, just because we would like... I did not mean to dismount Finn, unfortunately. We're going to have to remount him in a second here. Misclicks and all. We're going to be putting Nana above, if we can. Alright, so attacking with our last 2 uses of the Iron Sword. Very nice. I don't think we have any more door keys on any of our units. We do, actually, on Leaf. I think we'll refrain from using that. We don't need to use that at this moment. We can open that. And we can start blasting away with wind. Capture. Brave Sword. Perfect. Fergus always pulling his weight. And then what we can do is take that thunder. And we can also take that physic. We can take the unit and release him. So he's not any longer a threat. Alright. We have to be very careful about Kempf. We don't want to potentially get crit by him. And that would be perfect. And we're going to go ahead and attack Kempf.
So much for the impregnable Fort Dundrum.
Alright, so now he is going to find himself disappearing. And we have made very good progress.
Aha! What a joke! I must flee this place, at least for the time being.
Goodbye, Kempf. Your authority stars are no longer helpful for your teammates. They're not going to be getting much out of that anyway because they all are sorely weak at this point in the game. This is one of the easiest chapters to deal with as long as you know what you're doing. Just because of all that you have in access to you. And as many levels as we can possibly give Laura, that's what we're going to be doing. And Fred escaped. Let's put Nana there. And open up this chest. So we got the Torch Staff, which is... It gives plus 10 vision in Fog of War. Effect decreases by 1 every turn. So it's a staff version of the torch item. Why that's useful is simply because with it, you don't have to worry about using an item and you can get experience points also. Ocean just got a little bit more extra weapon experience points with his sword. And it's broken. And he still KO'd that guy. Oh, pretty awesome. Alright, so who else needs some experience points? Fergus doesn't need it. Asbel wouldn't mind. We could get both of these thunders off of these units. I actually think that would not be a bad idea. Alright, so 9 times 2, that's not good enough. But what we can do, if I'll ever do it correctly, is use Fergus for this good old job. And then we can take that thunder. We don't need it on Asbel anymore, but it is nice to have. Alright, we can't take that guy off. Let's see. Can we damage him? Even just slightly. 10 times 2. Well, if we don't crit with Leaf here, we should be able to capture with Karen. And then after that, we adepted. That's unfortunate. We might as well move our units down and get ready to dismount them. It won't be this turn for sure. We do want to get a little bit more experience points with Laura. Just a few more turns worth. It is, after all, only turn 10, so we've made pretty darn good progress on this chapter. We've gotten everything we need. We have successfully let Kempf launch the portcullis attack, which is going to allow us to get the Gaiden chapter, 11X. And that's a very interesting chapter, in my humble opinion. So, with that being said, we can take trade. Okay, he doesn't have anything on him. Good. And we can move our mounted units. We also want to make sure we remount Finn. And we're pretty well done. We just have to allow a little bit more experience points with Laura. Alright, so I think we're going to look at how many shots left each ballista has, and then we're going to probably use them over, 4 shots and 3 shots. So 4 more turns. We'll be right back. And we are back. It is finished. Laura got just a couple more level ups, and she's looking pretty darn beefy. Like, she doesn't really need much more experience points. We won't give her too much more. She is actually going to be getting another promotion, which is wild. One of the only characters in the game that has something of that nature. So we're going to go ahead and mount up, heal with Nana. We want to mount up with Karen. And we'd also like to mount up with Fergus before we finish this chapter. Simply superb work, my prince. With Fort Dundrum's gates captured this quickly, it will be all but impossible for the enemy to escape. We cannot afford to rest on our laurels, however. This being an imperial fort, I expect there are children imprisoned here as well. Let's make the most of our swift victory and conduct a sweep of the interior. If indeed there are children locked up here, we must help them at once. And I definitely agree we must help them at once. Alright, so we have a bunch of items to get rid of in our inventories. Potentially selling a lot of it. Asbel does not need or want either of those thunders. Let's get rid of that. We're also going to take a new iron sword out for Ocean. As well as we're going to take out the Ode Scroll. We'll need that shortly, in fact. Alright. Nana is ready to be promoted, but we unfortunately don't have any more Master Seals at this moment. So that's kind of a shame. But we'll make the most out of what we can do. Alright, so one thing I will say here is that you absolutely do not want Safi to be fatigued through this chapter. At least if you play using my strategies. Let's go ahead and give that short lance. It has been useful for what we've used it for. We don't no longer need it. One thing we can do is take the Nail Scroll back, and even the Horror Scroll. We can trade. Let's see. Laura doesn't really need any of these scrolls anymore. We're going to give all 3 of these to Leaf, for good reason. And I think most... Let's see. We can also take... We want to take the lockpick as well as a vulnerary, just in case. And she's not going to be joining us in this chapter, as she is quite fatigued. Very tired Laura, doing all that work staving off the ballista. Our frail old Laura. It's hilarious how strong she has become, but that is really something that you can attribute to the fact that we have scrolls, and scrolls are mightily strong, quite busted in fact, and I love them for that. A lot of people will complain and say, well, you know, it'd be better if we had other things, you know, instead of just having to use scrolls, but hey, I think they're actually quite great. Alright, so Ocean, we do want to take some stuff. Actually, you know what? I think what we want to do here is... we're going to give the Iron Sword away for the time being. Oh, the Ode Scroll is definitely something we want to keep on. Just for the time being. I halfway want to get rid of the Vouge for just a moment. I don't think he's going to need it in this chapter, but I'm going to keep it on him just in case. One thing we can do is take out the Torch Staff on Nana. I don't think Asbel can use it. So we could trade... yeah, it's a D rank staff, so actually he can use it. That's pretty nice. I don't really want to waste experience points using this on Nana when we can use it on Asbel. Though she would like the weapon level experience points, I don't really think it's that big a deal. Salfina is going to be a pretty decent player in this chapter. We're also going to take a killer bow out of the inventory for her. Longbows in this game are hilariously named, in my opinion. They're just stronger bows. They're not really longbows in the sense that most people are used to in Fire Emblem. Alright, so with that being said, I think we've taken everything we need to sell and putting it on you, so let's go ahead and have you visit the armorer and do just that. Alright, now we can deploy. Definitely don't want Fergus. Ocean. Let's go with, let's see, Lithus, Salfina. We can even do Nana here and Safi. I think that's pretty good. We could probably take Dagdar as a just in case. We need a little bit extra damage. I think that's fine. You can only bring 8 units to this chapter, so you have to be kind of careful on who you're choosing and what they're all going to have inventory-wise. So let's take, just in case, a torch. May or may not need that, but hey, if we need it, we'll have it. All right. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and save and deploy. Chapter 11X, Desperate Ground.
Bishop Oltaf, listen closely. These attackers are none other than the motley survivors of House Leonster. They seem to be led by Leif, the rebel prince who caused a stir when he escaped from the dungeon of Castle Munster. This has escalated beyond a mere border skirmish. I must ride out at once and alert the Imperial Army's high command. Not to imply that this relieves you of your duties, of course. I still have orders for you and your men. Your platoon is to barricade itself inside this wing of the fortress and stall the rebels for as long as possible. Buy me time.
But, General, the enemy has already breached the fort's interior. My men and I cannot possibly withstand a prolonged siege.
Nonsense. You still have one final means of defense in the southern corridor.
Are you implying we are to huddle up behind the gaps in the corridor's walls and take pot shots at the invaders? You're asking us to die. We'll be sitting ducks.
No, I'm ordering you to kill the invaders before they kill you. There's a tremendous difference. Mind you, no part of my orders require you to die. In fact, if you die, you have only yourself to blame. Oh, and I'm not asking anything. You use that word, not I. These are orders.
I understand. If this is an order, I have no choice in the matter.
That's the first smart thing you said, Bishop. Take your own advice and follow my orders, otherwise you'll be keeping Owen company in the dungeon. Speaking of which, you mustn't forget to dispose of the prisoners. They'll only cause trouble if they manage to survive all this.
As you wish, General.
Don't look so glum, Bishop. If you should happen to die here, you can rest knowing your death served a purpose. You're an Imperial soldier. You witch. All you do is go around spreading misery to other folk. And now you're here to kill us, ain't you? No, that's not why I'm here. I was arrested. What are you kids doing here? The soldiers were raiding our villages. They took me and brought me here even when I kicked and screamed. Well, what's gonna happen to us? You're talking like they ain't already decided what to do with us. They're gonna sacrifice us to Lotus. They're gonna send us to Valhalla and kill every last one of us. I know, 'cause my sister got taken there, and she never came back. No, please don't take us away. I just want to go home. I just want to see Mama and Papa again. It can't be. Has the Empire really been conducting child hunts? I'd heard rumors, but I was sure it was just rebel propaganda. I never even considered that it could be true. For the Empire to be doing something so heinous, this is inexcusable. I believed in the Empire. I trusted in House Frege, and this is what they've been doing all along? Please, ma'am, help us. Take us back home. Everything's going to be all right. You don't have to worry anymore, little one. They won't lay a finger on you ever again. On my honor, I'll protect each and every one of you, even if it costs me my life.
Alrighty, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and first and foremost use the torch staff and see just what we're beholding here. Pretty decent level up as Bell. And then we are going to... it's kind of unfortunate that Ocean is a little bit too far away, in my opinion. Let's attack you. Perfect, Selfina. Perfect. Aha. Alright, so the only thing we can do here, I'm guessing this would be the best idea, since sometimes, because you can't determine the deployment of your own specific units and where they go, you have to kind of just go with the flow. Alright, Dagdar can go here, Lithus can stay there, and we are going to be using the first use of warp in this game. And we will be using it to put Ocean right here, with his Vouge, in fact. And that's a full-on level up for Safi. Safi's level 5. Alright, so Ocean is here. And we have Oltoff, the Bishop. He has a Bolting and a Meteor Tome. You don't want to put Ocean down here, especially if he's already moved. He will be attacked. Oltoff has a pretty unfortunate range here. He will try his best to attack and KO these kids once you break them out of this prison, if you can. It is actually just far and away preferred to kill him as soon as you possibly can. So I'm going to be taking out both of these Wind Tome using Frege units. It's actually kind of unfortunate. So one of the things I would have loved to do is use Safi to teleport Ocean over here so that he could use the Brave Axe or the Vouge, depending, and just take out one of these and capture, because you want as many Wind Tomes as you possibly can. Since that's not the goal here, we're just going to try to defeat them all instead. I am going to be capturing Oltoff, however, at the very least. Getting his Bolting, his Meteor, his everything he's got on him, and dealing with him in such a way that we get him out of here. If you do not KO Althoff like I am doing here, as quickly as you possibly can, you will get endless reinforcements from the northwest. They are not something that will affect your army normally. However, they will affect your units to the north when you have them, and they will also affect Olwen and the children. Right here, you do have to be kind of careful. If Olwen gets hit by that soldier, you might as well reset. And the reason being for that is because if you don't reset, Olwen is likely to perish. Just the way this chapter works, unfortunately.
Lady Olwen, are you down here?
Please, say something.
Fred, you came back for me. I'm over here, and children have been locked up with me too. But Kempf still has men stationed here. Don't get careless.
Alrighty, I think this is a perfect opportunity for us to go ahead and say our farewells. I want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow. Or like and subscribe depending on your platform, and while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.